Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Before I get started, I want to give some food for thought. Regardless of what side of the political spectrum you sit on, I want this video to kind of be for everyone. If you don't believe we should have the right to carry a gun, that's fine. I choose to exercise my Second Amendment right. And I would like to point out that the other day, a kid took down a would-be mass murderer because he was exercising his Second Amendment right. We've gotten to a point in this country where we can't objectively look at the facts and come to a reasonable conclusion because one group of people is so ingrained in their ideological beliefs that they're unwilling to objectively look at the facts. The facts are there are people walking around on this earth today that maybe would not have been if he wasn't doing what he was doing and did what he did. Take that for what it's worth. If you still choose to not carry a gun, that's fine. That's your prerogative, I guess. That's not to say you still can't save lives with some of the gear I'm going to be talking about here today. Kind of go into it with an open mind. So without any further ado, this is my everyday carry backpack. This goes with me everywhere. This goes with me to work and home, the gym. So this is a Drago pack. I got it from a local sporting goods store in my area years ago at this point. And it's probably not the nicest backpack, but I'm not putting it through any kind of hard use. A lot of people are going to look at this backpack and say, oh wow, that looks real tactical. It's desert tan, it has Molly and that kind of stuff all over it. That's fine. I mean, if you would prefer to carry something a little bit more toned down, you can go with something like this. I've carried this pack with all the same stuff before. It's really just going to come down to what you want to do. At this point, I don't really care. As you can see, I have a little patch here, and that's kind of just to be funny, but it's also to say I would be careful what kind of patches you put on your pack if you have any. The advantage that as someone seeking to do evil always has, they have the element of surprise on their side. They're going to be walking amongst you in the mall, the grocery store, wherever it is they're planning to do their evil act. If you're giving off a bunch of red flags and a big sign saying I'm carrying a gun, you probably bet they're going to ambush you. But the front little pouch up here, I really just use it to carry like my wallet, my headphones. Like I said, this backpack goes with me to the gym and whatnot. This little patch down here, I have just a pen, marker, a little pocket knife. I also carry an extra pair of gloves right here. We'll get into that later. That's pretty much all I carry in this little front pouch. In the main compartment of my bag right here, this is where, when I go to the gym, I carry my firearm. Like I said, if you choose not to carry, that's fine. That's totally up to you. My Tier 1 concealment appendix holster goes right here. So obviously, normally this would go in my pants. Not being able to realistically wear this while I'm training at the gym wearing sweats or basketball shorts. When I'm at the gym, that's where it goes. It happens to fit perfectly in this little mesh pouch, so that's how I rock it. Under that, I have spare magazines. How important are spare magazines? I don't know. Are you going to be exchanging that much gunfire with somebody? I mean, I hope not. But I'd rather have them and not need them than need them. Anything else I'm carrying, laptop, whatever else, etc., it would go in this main pack right here. When I have used this bag for range days, I would throw my little tools in this little pouch up here. So hex keys, screwdrivers, etc., Holster, this is a Tier 1 concealment. Pretty standard these days as far as EDC goes, extra mag. The firearm itself, this is a Shadow Systems frame on a Zephyr Precision slide imported barrel. This is a very nice handgun. It was about $800 before the optic and flashlight and all that. This is actually a limited edition frame. You can't even get this color anymore. So I'll be doing an in-depth video on this handgun and basically what I think about it. It's pretty slick. So a lot of people are going to see something like this and say, hey look, I don't want to spend that much money on a handgun if you're a first-time buyer, or I just don't have it to spend that much money. So I get it, that's fine. Before I got that, my very first gun I ever bought was a factory Glock 19. Obviously it didn't have the compensator, the threaded barrel. I stippled it myself. Right after I turned 21, I went down and bought a Glock 19 basically to carry. That's what I'm currently carrying. This is what I used to carry. The main thing is going to be whatever handgun you choose, whatever manufacturer you end up going with, actually train with it. The other day that kid hit her 8 out of 10 shots from 40 yards away on likely a moving target. Iron sights, that's not easy. Yeah, I know guys that shoot a lot that can't do that. I would probably have a hard time doing that with an optic in a stressful situation. So other than those two pockets, we're going to get into this middle one, which has all my medical gear. So as you can see, I have quite a bit of stuff in here, and it's organized in a way that I thought made sense to me. So let's jump into it. I'm going to spread everything out here on the table and go by everything piece by piece and kind of give my thoughts on it. Basically, as you can see, I have gloves here. I have 8 pairs in total in this bag, plus the extra pair in that front pocket I showed y'all earlier. Two pairs in these little rubber band bundles here. I have this set up basically so I can expediently pull them one pair out, put it on myself, and say if I'm there and another first responder happens to be there off duty, or a nurse or a doctor, etc., comes up and is like, hey, I'm a doctor, nurse, whatever, what can I do? You can hand them this pair of gloves and say, okay, go treat that person, whatever. Also, if that isn't the case, I can put one of these pairs in my pockets and have an extra pair of gloves that I can expediently grab out. 8 pairs, so another 2 pairs in this little bundle. Up here where I can get it quickly, I have a North American Rescue Gen 7 cat tourniquet staged and ready to go. When you buy them, they're going to come like this, wrapped in plastic. Or take them out of this little plastic cover here whenever you're putting them in your bag or wherever you're going to carry them. You don't want to pull it out to use it and then have to be sitting here fiddle fucking with it like I am right now. As you can see, that takes time. One thing I want to touch on with these tourniquets is be sure you order them from a good company. There's a lot of like tourniquets that look just like these selling on Amazon that are not North American Rescue Cat Gen 7s. One way you can tell is if you can see right there, it says Cat G7 for Gen 7. It'll have a lot number and it'll come usually in a little plastic packet like I just took it out of, and it'll be 2 of them per little pack. Be sure you get authentic North American Rescue tourniquets. Usually for a 2-pack they're about $70. Expensive, but at least you know you're getting the real thing. A lot of the ones on Amazon I see 3-packs, 4-packs for like 40, 50 bucks. Those aren't real American Rescue Cat Gen 7 tourniquets. Be sure you get authentic tourniquets. That's important. Trauma shears. I have trauma shears here because if you have a person with gunshots to their torso, the last thing you want to do is start pulling out your pocket knife trying to cut their shirt off. You're definitely not going to want to ask them to take their shirt off themselves. Have this so you can expediently cut their pants or shirt off and get to their wounds to be able to treat them. I promise you, no one's going to be mad for revealing them or cutting their shirt off if you end up saving their life. As you can see, these are designed with this flat portion right here to go right up against someone's skin and cut his shirt off. These are going to be a lot better than trying to hastily cut their shirt off with your pocket knives. Getting down into what I have down here. So first off, I have it kind of organized with most serious stuff in front. So what I have here are chest seals. These again are going to be North American Rescue. They come in a pack like this, a 2-pack for an entry and exit wound. And when you buy them, they come in these little plastic bags. Again, I left it in this plastic bag to kind of show you. Take it out of the plastic bag. You don't need that. Have it in your pack or whatever stage ready to go, just like this. You don't need to separate them. You can open them from either side right here to get to both of them to use. Basically, they're set up like this for an entry or exit wound. Now, I'm going to touch on something that this is going to come down to training. When you use your trauma shears to cut their shirt off, examine them for other exit wounds. I can't tell you how many gunshot victims I have had where there's one entry wound and multiple exit wounds. Bullets hit bone, tumble, shatter. You can have exit wounds that you don't see and that can lead to sucking chest wounds that are unknown to you, and your patient can develop a pneumothorax as you walk off and treat other people and die. So you're going to be checking under the armpits. That's one. Check under their fat if they have that much fat. Be aware of that. So you may need to use more than the standard set of chest seals on one person. That's why I have multiples. Now, these are pressure bandages. I have 2. I have these to work in conjunction with my quick clot. So let's say I run out of tourniquets and I have a patient that is still bleeding heavily. I can use these quick clots to pack the wound. These is gauze treated with a hemostatic agent that will cause the blood to clot. So what you do is you pack your wound with this and then use this pressure bandage to wrap it and keep pressure on the wound. And these are going to be things that are expensive. This quick clot stuff is expensive. So these will work in conjunction. Again, you can use this to try to control the bleeding. If it's a gaping wound, like from an exit wound of a rifle, you're more than likely going to have to pack the wound with this and then bandage over this with this pressure bandage. So that's why I have these. They're not specifically designed to work together, but they work together very well. Further down here, I have more quick clot. The reason why I have extra quick clot and not any more pressure bandages is because I can only fit so much in this little backpack. And you can use these in the same manner as I just described by using a t-shirt, a sweater, some other item of clothing as a makeshift pressure bandage. Obviously, you pack the wound, dress the wound with a quick clot, wrap it with a t-shirt of some kind or whatever you have at your disposal, and tie it down tight so obviously it creates pressure on the wound. So guys, as you can see, this is quite a bit of gear. This is quite a bit of medical stuff to carry every day. Cue the person that's going to jump in and say like it's such a shame we have to carry stuff like this in today's day and age in this country. Like, I guess I can kind of see where you're coming from, but I would argue that I'd rather have this stuff and know how to use it than not, and show up somewhere where an event like this has happened and not be able to help. We've seen how long it can take law enforcement to act in these situations, and unfortunately EMS can only enter the scene and start helping people and doing what they're trying to do after law enforcement has cleared the scene. Having this gear and knowing how to use it could possibly save multiple lives. All this stuff is going to require the knowledge of how to use it, so seek out medical training. As for myself, I've been trained all the way up to the ALS level for my job. That means advanced life-saving techniques, so IVs, needle decompressions, advanced airway management techniques. That stuff I don't think is really applicable in this situation. Understand that none of this stuff is going to fix the problem. This is hopefully just going to keep them alive and give them a chance to make it to a high-level care facility and make it onto an operating table where their injuries can be fixed and their life can be saved. As unfortunate as it is, guys, I would argue that having this stuff just doesn't apply to active shooter scenarios. If you happen to use your handgun in defensive capacity and you put someone down, it's probably a good idea to render first aid to them. It's going to be a lot harder for a BS civil suit to stick if it's documented and known that you attempted to help them after you use your handgun defensively. With that being said, guys, I mean, that's really all I got. I appreciate you watching. If you're new here, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.